Today, I went up north to pick up our new Zeekr 001. This version has the 140 kWh battery option. This is a big car, and it will be perfect for long-distance trips. And a quick look at the interior of the car. We like the red seatbelts, don't we? The car has been driven only 5 kilometers and is fully charged. The highlight is the range with over 1,000 kilometers. Can this range hold up in real life? The standard car key is a simple card, but later we also got a regular car key. A quick test of the soft closing doors, which is one of the big misses in my Taycan 4S. As I play with the various views of the cameras, I must say that the car is spacious inside with plenty of storage. I also like the raised seating position, which is somewhere in between a regular car and a full-sized SUV. The optional Yamaha sound system is good, but cannot compete with the Bose system in my Taycan. We are going on a trip. This is a great opportunity to find out what the real-world range is. The car has been charged overnight to 100%, and after some driving, we now get a much more realistic predicted range of 845 kilometers. The ambient temperature is a bit over 30 degrees Celsius and we expect a little rain on the way. With the air conditioning running and the seat cooling switched on, the first 21% of the battery gave us 32.2 kWh and 170 kilometers. That would mean the battery could supply up to 150 kWh and a range of close to 800 kilometers. This looks promising indeed. Long-distance driving gets easier on a near-empty 4-lane highway with self-driving feature engaged. Later on we need to get a few more consumption tests done. However, driving on this highway with constant 120 km per hour, the consumption is just a bit over 20 kWh per 100 km. We arrived at our destination with 67% left in the battery and an estimated remaining range of 500 km. This would give us a total range of 760 km with a full battery. Furthermore, we used 50 kWh from the battery for 253 km with an average speed of 105 km per hour. After some local driving, which increased the consumption and reduced the average speed of the entire trip, we are now on our way back. I also increased the travel speed to 130 km per hour in order to beat the evening rush hour traffic on the way back. On top of that, it's really hot outside, so the air condition has to work a bit harder. Okay, while the car drives back, let's analyze this. We used 90.3 kWh and driven 430 kilometers. If I were driving my Taycan, I would have been already charging. But with this car, I still have over 40% in the battery. Now 90.3 kWh used and 430 kilometers driven gives us a consumption of 21 kWh per 100 kilometers. Let's compare this to the Taycan, when I was doing a similar trip a couple of years ago. That time the battery was still pretty new with only a few charging cycles. With pumped-up tires, no air condition running and similar average speed, we had a consumption of 19.1 kWh per 100 kilometers in eco mode. This was certainly a good consumption value, but we should take out the 3.2% the air condition is using, to better compare. The consumption is then 20.3 kWh per 100 km in comfort mode. Considering that the Taycan has a slightly better drag coefficient of 0.22 versus the 0.23 of the Zeekr, and the fact that the Zeekr is a larger car, the efficiency is fairly similar. The car is quiet and comfortable. The lane keep assist as well as the adaptive cruise control works well, and the indication in the head-up display is also clear. We arrived back home with 11% left in the battery and a range of 99 kilometers. We have driven 629 kilometers, so this would give us a real-world range of 720 kilometers. Our average speed dropped even further, since we had quite a few traffic jams. After some local driving, the battery was down to just 6%, and the range circle in the navigation rather small. Time to find a high-power charger. Luckily, there are so many. Let's have a look what we can filter for. We are looking for a powerful charging station. I see we can filter for Zeekr charging stations. Since they should be pretty new, they also should deliver high current DC charging. The second one, considering how expensive charging is, should be a high-powered charger. Arriving with just 3% will give us a very interesting charging curve from a low state of charge. We arrived at this downtown fast charging station with many more charges than I expected. The 4 charges from Zeekr were empty, with one other Zeekr just pulling in front of me. His battery is the small one with 86 kilowatt-hours. We started pretty much with 150 kilowatts charging power. It's really hot outside, so the battery certainly does not suffer from being too cold. Here at 5% we can see already over 150 kilowatts. At 27%, the charging suddenly accelerates and moves up to 190 kilowatts. This is still less than other cars can do, so let's see how long we can go at this rate. Since the charger itself does not have a display, at 47%, I checked on my app the charging rate. It was about 3% more than what is displayed in the car. Are these the losses in the cable and electronics of the charger and in the car? So the same difference between what the charger delivers and what the car receives at 58 and 66%. The charging rate is still close to maximum of almost 200 kilowatts. At 68% we see the charging rate at its peak. It then suddenly drops back down to around 150 kilowatts. This rate is then maintained for another 10% all the way to 78%, where it then drops off to around 110 kilowatts. After completing 80%, the rate is reduced further. This then is not so relevant anymore, if you want to drive long distance in as little time as possible. Okay, let's look at the charging curve. We adjusted the rate to what the charger would show by adding 3% to every value. This should make it easier to compare it to other cars. First, we draw it out over the state of charge of the battery. We can see that charging between 25 and 70% is adding the most energy to the battery in the shortest time. If we switch over to the same diagram, but now drawn over time, we can see that we can add over 50 kilowatt-hours to the battery in just over 20 minutes. This 120-minute stop would add another 250 kilometers of range. Therefore, 1,000 kilometers driving would require just one short stop. Can you beat this with a gas-powered car? Is this the future of electric vehicles? Would anybody want to have an even bigger battery, with even more range? As I drive off the charger parking, let me show you a clip from the built-in dashcam. If you look at the top, you can see it has lots of additional information displayed, such as speed, range, seat belt, lighting, indicator and so on.